Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this recap video for Simpler Futures, I'm going to walk you through the daily price movement range on the sell-off that we saw in the S&P, how we handle it, and some of the names that we've got to keep an eye on throughout this week. All right, so suffice to say, I want you to kind of start. We're going to work backwards and reverse engineer this entry because we're long already in the ES. I'm going to show you from where and how we're managing this into the Asian session. So first of all, every morning, and actually today we had this done by 8:27 a.m. Eastern. And the reason I'm emphasizing that, 8:27 a.m. this morning, New York time, and the reason I'm emphasizing that is because by this time in the morning, we're able to calculate these levels. Now, all we need is the high. I'll typically find the most useful highs for these calculations happen between about 7 a.m. and 9. And if there is a higher high that's punched up to, it'll be around 10 a.m. Eastern after the clearing session. So we take that high and we calculate the projected lows that could be what? These are all potential support. All right. The Monday average correction, the Monday high, in other words, the upper price movement range correction, the week price movement range correction, and then what we call the 32%, the rare air correction. So these are all corrective levels that could be supports. These are all corrective levels that we calculate by 8:27 this morning. Now, I want to mention, if you want to join me while we do these live, head on over to simplertrading.com/live. simplertrading.com/live. Because we're doing something that we normally don't do. We haven't done one in years. And that is the open house. And you can join us live. We have 2 more days for the open house. So we did day 1, and I'm showing you some of the numbers we crunched today from day 1. But if you're wanting to look what myself, David Starr, and Neil Yeager do while we trade the futures, even Forex, and even some Bitcoin futures, come check out what's going on at Simpler Futures. And so 3 days of free open house. All right, so having said that, we have the projected lows. So what we do, and what my preference is to focus on the high for the day, which is what we call the Monday high, the MI, or that corrective level for the week. These are the 2 levels that will coordinate with that. This one being my favorite, the 28.57. That means that I am near the upper end of price movement, the highest that I would typically see 68% of time for the week. And that is what we sold off by and then some. So having a 28.57.5 limit order to buy puts me in this area right here. It's actually right about, I'm going to move it up just a smidge right there. Okay. So 27.57.5. And you can see earlier in the morning, that's exactly where we bounced off of at 10:30. And then we moved up into the 28.68. So that bounce was good for just about 10, 11 points. All right. Then we sold off again. And by the way, how do you know when to take something off the table? How many points? That's typically going to be using the hour price movement range, which is something we talk about in the chat room. And I show you how to get the tool to give you the idea of when do you take some of your position off the table. Then we rolled over and we triggered this area again. 57 triggered right in there. And then we continued to move lower. Well, there's a few things that we were looking for. Hey, could we get the 28.50 level, which we didn't. So we're still hanging in there with the 28.57, looking for upward movement. Now, you might ask, why take this trade into the Asian session? What kind of price movement can I expect? The price movement range is almost half now. So it's a little bit less volatility, and we're looking for a little risk appetite going into Asia. So we'll keep a very close eye on that level while also being okay with buying the 28.50 level. So today we've already gotten 10, 11 points out of that bounce, and I'm looking to do it all over again. And even with that, the worst heat we took was about 5 points. And I can live with that because that's within the hourly price movement range. So this is what we're dealing with right now. One winner and then a re-entry on our hands on the S&P. The same thing happened in the Dow and in gold. And we'll talk about that and much more in the premium video. And again, if you want to watch us calculate these numbers live, come hang out with us for the next 2 days, simplertrading.com/live.